they really are benefiting from current circumstances, and they, I mean the NDP government. Natural gas prices, because let's remember natural gas is also affected by the carbon tax. Natural gas prices are incredibly low right now, incredibly low compared to what they were 2 years ago, compared to what they were 5 years ago. I mean, they're a fraction of what they were back in 2008 when then Energy Minister Murray Smith was telling everybody to put on a sweater. So it's not like people are going to see a giant spike in their natural gas bills. I mean, there's like, you know, an arena in Calgary that said, oh, we have to turn off the heaters because the price of gas is so high. That's nonsense. I mean, the price of gas was higher 18 months ago without the carbon tax than it is now. So that gives the NDP a little bit of political cover there. And even with gasoline prices at the pump, they're likely to be going up in the next couple of weeks because the price of oil is going up. And so right now, gas prices, frankly, they were higher before the tax came in some circumstances than they are now. That may not last. On the other hand, if the price of gasoline goes up, that means the price of oil went up, and that means that the NDP will have a little more political cushion.
The price of oil goes up and down. You know, like that 4.5 cents gets absorbed really quickly. And this is not like the GST. Whenever you buy something, a GST is added on, and you know it's right there. The price of gas, the price of natural gas, it's all rolled in. People will tend, I think, to forget about this in a sense if the economy improves, the price of oil goes up, and the pipelines build.
This has got less to do with stopping global warming, for which this will make an incidental degree of difference to the amount of carbon that's going into the atmosphere globally. And it's got more to do with an economic shift, because the idea is tax the consumption of the thing that is problematic. And this is not really about what we pay at the pump or what we pay in our private home heating costs. This is about the big industrial emitters. This is about sharing the pain. It is virtue signaling. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but we should have no illusions about the fact that if we each drive a slightly more fuel efficient car, that is actually going to do anything to save any polar bears.
Well, I think also it is worth, because you hear this argument a lot from people saying, you know, we're only Alberta, we're only Canada, we're such a tiny percentage of... but if you look at how Rachel Notley's carbon tax has provided cover for Justin Trudeau's carbon tax and has given him a chance to do a dry run, and people act like he's doing her a favor by lauding the carbon tax, but really he's just looking out for his own political situation in a year from now. But I think that's been really helpful to Trudeau to get his political situation in order. And then I think globally that also matters, because when we talk about a carbon tax, we're talking about North Dakota and we're talking about China. So the global environment does matter. And I think that somebody has to go first if this is something you believe in and something you think the world has to do. And I think once the dominoes start falling, it makes it politically easier for everyone to do it.
It is the antithesis of a socialist program in some ways. I mean, it's not cap and trade. It's not some kind of social engineering. It's a market signal. This is why economists love it. This is why all kinds of, small C conservative commentators and economists are actually praising, if not perfectly, the NDP model. I think they prefer the one in British Columbia, but carbon taxes, which send you an economic price signal to conserve and don't sort of award winners and losers in the economy, can make a lot of fiscal sense. Now, the real question is, what is the government going to do with the money that it collects? I mean, some of it's going back in rebates. Some of it is earmarked for green transit projects. Other things seem a little bit loosey-goosey, right? We're going to invest it in new economies. So, this always makes me think about Don Getty. This always makes me think about the danger of governments deciding that they're going to pick winners and losers in the economy. And so I'm, in some ways, considerably less worried about what I'm paying up front than I am waiting to see exactly what the NDP is going to do with the billions that it collects.